If your skulls haven't cracked yet from the amount of times I've hammered in the idea that Xenoblade 2 took a lot of inspiration and made a lot of references to Xenogears, then good, watch this video. If your skulls have cracked, then I would recommend seeing a doctor, because you probably want to get that checked out. But anyway, don't let the release date of this video confuse you. There's nothing really spooky about this. It's just another cool Easter egg that I only just figured out a couple days ago and am making a video about now when I have the time to do so. Throughout the Xeno series, mechs are called something different in every universe. Xenogears called them gears, Xenosaga used a bunch of different names for a bunch of different classifications, Xenoblade 1 had faces, Xenoblade X had skulls, and Xenoblade 2 had artifices. Now, while the general presence of mechs remained a constant throughout the series, one thing that was pretty much dropped after Xenosaga was the idea of the Anima Relic / Vessel of Anima, a certain extremely powerful thing tied in some way to the Zohar that can be aligned with mechs, and upon doing so will change them into a more powerful form that also comes with a slew of new abilities. In Xenogears, when a gear is aligned with an Anima Relic, it becomes what's known as an Omni-Gear. This gives them a significant power boost, at least plot-wise. Gameplay-wise, they're basically cosmetic changes that might give you a couple pieces of better gear, as well as basically making them run more efficiently is the simplest way I can explain it. They also get a brand new interface. Normal gears work like you'd expect a mech to work. You're sitting in a seat and moving physical controls to control what the mech does. Omni-Gears, however, are controlled mentally. If you're aligned with the Anima Relic, using your thoughts, you can control the gear. It takes some getting used to, but it probably has a much higher skill ceiling than using physical controls, and as such, you could use the new powers you get even better than you could ever use your original gear. There's also, of course, the appearance change. Omni-Gears have a much more techno-organic look going on than a regular gear, which just pretty much looks like a normal late 90s mech. A good example of this is comparing the party member Bart's regular gear and Omni-Gear. Now, his Omni-Gear was discovered as an Omni-Gear. He didn't evolve the gear he usually used, but it's extremely likely that that Omni-Gear was based on a regular gear that was the same model, if not functionally identical to his normal one. So his normal gear looks like this, and his Omni-Gear looks like this. Keep those designs in mind for a minute, because it's finally time to start flipping over to Xenoblade 2. As I mentioned, there's no Anima Relic type thing in that universe at all, and obviously the importance of mechs in general are downplayed. But the Sirens are the closest thing to an Omni-Gear that this universe has. When we see them being piloted, the Aegises are just floating inside them in some sort of techno-y void, so they obviously have to pilot with mental controls and stuff. And also, power-wise, Sirens seem to be basically the most powerful artifices. So, when you look at the opening of Torna, you see that there's this really cool woodcut art style for the beginning of it before it transitions into Malos actually speaking, which I'm headcanoning to be this is how events of the war were actually recorded. But Siren shows up there for a section. And it's a much more organic looking version of Siren. It has more defined feathery looking wings than the actual mech does. It's like an Omni-Gear version of Siren. I have no idea if this was intentional, but that's a really cool coincidence if it is one. Now, if we were going by Xenogears rules and a Siren was upgraded into an Omni-Gear, it would take the name L Siren. So, yeah, I guess you don't need fan art to figure out what an L Siren would look like, because they actually put it in the game, and I think that's pretty cool.